Hi, I'm Amy Ahlers, the co-founder of Inner Mean Girl Reform School and co-author of the new book, Reform Your Inner Mean Girl, 7 Steps to Stop Bullying Yourself and Start Loving Yourself.
And my name is Jenks, and I'm the founder of Live More, Way Less and sarahjenks.com. And Amy and I wanted to get together today because we've been spending a lot of time together recently. We're both coaches. Our babies are just a day apart, and they're turning 1.
Oh my gosh.
It's crazy, exciting, and heartbreaking all at the same time.
Yes, exactly.
So because we are at this milestone in our lives and our journey as mothers and with our bodies, we've been talking so much about how our inner mean girl plays into so many areas of our life.
Right.
Especially our bodies and motherhood and our relationships. And we just really wanted to get on video and be with you guys because, you know, a lot of times it's just not helpful to only have these conversations happening in our living room.
That's
right?
So true.
Yeah.
It is so true. Yeah, that's exactly it. And we know for all of you amazing women, that maybe you're a little hard on yourself as well. Maybe you have an inner mean girl that's beating you up about motherhood, about how your body looks, about your finances, about your career. I mean, really take your pick. Inner mean girls can be brutal. They kind of kick us when we're down. And Sarah and I have really had such an amazing time over the last couple of years, really getting to know each other and each other's work. We've taken each other's programs. And I've always been so blown away by Live More, Way Less, Sarah's flagship program, and what it really does for women, about having them say yes to living right now in the moment, regardless of the size or the scale or any of that. Yeah, and it really, there's so much complimentary stuff about our work.
Yeah.
Because at Inner Mean Girl Reform School, it's all about reforming that inner voice and really turning her into an ally. And it's redeploying her for a new job. And that's exactly what happens when you do Live More, Way Less as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know for me, whenever we have a battle with our body, I've been battling with my body since I was 8 years old. I think a lot of us can relate to that.
I know. I just thought of my oldest daughter, who's around that age now. And just, wow, that's hardcore.
And she's so little.
I know.
So little.
God, yeah.
And whenever we're having a battle with our body, it's always because we're having a battle with our inner mean girl.
Always.
And so many women believe that the way to quiet our inner mean girl and the way to finally feel happy and relaxed and at ease is to lose 20 pounds. And so we prioritize the diet, we prioritize working out, and we go on crazy cleanses and we try these diet plans. We're like, I'm just going to suffer for a couple months.
I'm going to white knuckle it.
Yeah. And then it's like, I'll lose the weight, and then I can sort of start to think about lifestyle and do all that stuff. But I mean, I know for me, I would last on a diet for probably 3 hours. I mean, like literally no more than 3 hours. And for me, it just didn't work. And for other people, they can do it successfully, but then they get all the way back, or they do it successfully and they show up in their like future life and they're like, wait, nothing is different. Everything still sucks.
Right.
And so I am really on a mission to have people understand what's actually important, what actually comes first.
Yes.
Which is living more and actually paying attention to that inner mean girl, because that voice is what's causing us to overeat, along with all sorts of other crazy destructive things.
Yes.
So Amy, I would love to have you help me understand like who my inner mean girl is. Perfect. Because what I love about your work is that you have all of these incredible archetypes, that are so clear, and I haven't had a chance to like really explore it for myself.
Yes.
So I thought we could talk about that.
I love that idea. Great. And then after we do that with Sarah, I'm gonna have you. I've taken Live More, Way Less, as you know, and I have like a couple questions, a couple challenges coming up with me. So I want to have you coach me on that. Good. So, okay, good. Okay, great. So yes, the 13 inner mean girl archetypes. Really, I know it is a lot, and it's so important because what we believe at Inner Mean Girl Reform School is that the first step is getting to know your inner mean girl. That's the key, because so often we're so busy like,
shut up.
Yeah, exactly. Just shut up. Just shut up. Just shut up. Oh, think positive thoughts. Think positive thoughts, right? And then the bottom line is that just never works.
Yeah. It's like, I am light.
Exactly.
Peace.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
and then you have this voice. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it feels like there's this thing when you can't really reform something or transform something if you don't know what it is.
Right.
And so really getting to know, like developing a personal relationship with your inner mean girl is step one. And one of the keys to that is really identifying with these different archetypes, because what we've learned, and Christina Rilo is my partner and co-author of our new book, and what we really teach at Inner Mean Girl Reform School is all about these 13 different archetypes that we've discovered over the last 4+ years of working with 30,000 women from around the world. We've noticed there's these patterns.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of people. I know, it's pretty amazing.
Amazing.
I know.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty good about it. Little pat on the back. No. But yeah, so it's what we've noticed is these different patterns, because people think, oh, I don't have an inner mean girl. I'm not really mean to myself. Or I don't do that, but that they put a lot of pressure on themselves. Or I'm not really mean to myself, but I say yes when I really mean no. Right? So there's these different archetypes. So there's archetypes like the good girl. She's a little sneaky. I have one, by the way. People pleaser galore. Yeah. Then there's the achievement junkie.
Yes.
She has you start achieving and achieving and achieving. She's like a mountain climber gone mad. She never stops to take in the view. You reach the top of the hill, you're sweating buckets, and she's like, onward to the next one, right? Yep. And then there's things like the comparison queen that compares your worst to everyone else's best, especially when it comes to body. Oh, brutal. She can be brutal. And then there's others as well. And so what's really cool is actually below, there's a quiz that you can take so that you can discover which of these archetypes are there for you, are really present for you. So for you, Sarah, I'm curious. When you think of the last time that a mistake happened, or when you had a big fat failure show up in your life, what did your inner mean girl say to you?
That's such a good question. I'm trying to think of the moment.
Yeah. And all of you watching, you can also think about this as well, right? It could also be, let me just give you the flip of that in case nothing's coming to mind. The last time something went really, really well, what did your inner mean girl tell you?
Okay, so I have answers to both.
Okay, good.
So, when something went bad, when I made a mistake, it was something along the lines of, the world is ending. This is the worst thing that ever happened to you. Don't say anything.
Oh, interesting.
Move on.
Shut down. Stonewall. Yeah. Shut down. We will not speak of this again.
We will not speak of it again.
Denial is not just a river in Egypt.
Avoid the vulnerability. Do not talk about it. Right. It feels like I would throw up if I had to talk about it. That's the feeling that I get.
Okay, interesting.
And then when things go well, I hear this voice of, oh, good, you did what you were supposed to do.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So okay, that's like average.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, great. Okay, so wow. First of all, wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is very vulnerable to do. This was not a planned conversation here, just so you all know.
This is really helpful.
This is so this is great because I'm hearing 2 different archetypes. And of the 13, we all have a little bit of each of them. But in particular let me take it's almost like there's nothing to see here. Like, yes, this was a huge win, but it's just average. There's nothing to see here. Total achievement junkie pattern.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. And we know this is one of the reasons you're very successful in business, right? You're very successful at really everything that you touch turns to gold. And the cost of that is that she probably doesn't let you rest.
No.
Doesn't let you celebrate.
No.
Diminishes every little thing.
Yeah.
I'm just getting chills as I say this.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. So this is classic achievement junkie with a little bit of doing addict thrown in there. The doing addict is the one, she's a kissing cousin of the achievement junkie. In that she's very high energy. But the difference is that the doing addict isn't as interested in achievement. She's just interested in you never slowing down and never feeling anything. And that actually ties into a little bit of when the bad things happen, of just there's nothing to see here. Again, it's like there's nothing to see here. Like, okay, I'm hearing 2 things. The doing addict, she doesn't want you to rest. She doesn't want you to acknowledge what's going on. And then we also have an archetype, which is also one of mine, the overly optimistic partying cheerleader who likes to put a smiley face on everything and cheerlead you right off the cliff, She can be crazy. And that one also is really sneaky because it can come off as just being a really positive person, which there is like an authentic positive person. And then there's like, okay, I'm just going to go ahead and slather frosting on this, garbage. Yeah, I was going to say something else that wasn't so good, but yeah, exactly. Frosting on this garbage and just eat it and pretend and just not talk about the garbage that's underneath the frosting. Yeah. Yes. So I'm curious, what are these 3 different archetypes? What are they costing you?
I think feeling. Yeah. Just like really feeling everything.
Yes.
And I think the biggest one is celebration. Like really, really celebrating. Yeah. Because I will do it, but not at the level that I could.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally get that. I'm sure all of you are like nodding your heads. I know there's a lot of women that can really relate to this. Yeah. So just feeling that in my heart that's a bummer. So I have just a friendship moment with you. Will you call me to celebrate next time you're shooting? To celebrate. I will. Okay. Yay. Yeah. Work, business, otherwise, whatever, personal. Yeah, it's important. Do that. Yeah, and that's the thing with each of these archetypes is there's different antidotes for ways to work with them.
I love that.
And this is something that we go into more in the book, but there's ways that we can begin to work with this. And I can't just leave you there. So I want to just do one last thing with you before I guess some coach and love. Yep. So I just want you to close your eyes for a moment, and all of you listening can do this as well. And just taking a deep breath. What does your inner wisdom know about your inner mean girl, about celebration? What does your inner wisdom know?
Can I tell you?
Yeah, please.
My inner wisdom knows that when I take time to celebrate, my capacity expands tenfold.
Awesome. Yeah. So Sarah, when you take time to celebrate, your capacity expands. Beautiful. Oh, chills.
I'm gonna write that on my mirror.
Write that down, ladies. That is a keeper. And here's the thing that we do, in the book and at Inner Mean Girl Reform School is it's about turning down the volume on your inner mean girl and reforming her, and then turning up the volume on your inner wisdom and really connecting in with that voice, because our inner wisdom is so wise. And this is why it dovetails so beautifully into Live More, Way Less. Because that is really such a core principle around really being present, right? And really being present to your inner wisdom and listening to your inner wisdom when you're having a meal. And so I would love for you to give me a little Live More Way.
Yeah, so tell me what's been happening with you since you've taken the program.
I'm going to reach off camera. Hold on for our little glass of water. Okay. Well, I was sharing with you before we started videoing that 2 of the principles that I so believe in theory and then have a really hard time practicing. 2 of them are, the first one is the hardest for me, is eating without distractions. So challenging. My inner mean girl is so hell-bent on like how impossible that is. How could I ever? I have 2 kids. I'm running this business. When I have time for a meal, I want to like watch TV and relax and like watch some sort of random escapist show and have my meal. Like that is such a huge one for me. Yeah. And then of course that blends perfectly into the next one, which is eating, like stopping eating when my inner wisdom, connecting in with her and being able to say, okay, I'm no longer hungry versus waiting until I feel really full. Yeah. And even if I don't feel like I do that, of course too. But even like when I feel like there's something in me, my inner mean girl perhaps, that loves that feeling of feeling like full, like full belly.
Yeah, totally.
And I get really scared. This is the other thing that comes up with me for me. I'm just gonna tell y'all how it's going over here. Is that then I get scared that if I stopped eating, that I'd get hungry again like 45 minutes later, which might happen, and then I wouldn't have time to eat. So because I'm so busy. Right, it's very layered. Yeah. Okay, this is so we'll see what we have time for on this video.
Is so good.
Welcome to
Okay,
Amy's
so
therapy
just so
session.
you guys know, the reason why eating without distractions and eating until you're no longer hungry, but not necessarily going into your full, the reason why these two tenets are so important is that in Live More, Weigh Less, there's a couple different reasons why, but the main thing is it teaches us to listen to our body.
Right.
So I don't teach people how to stick to a diet plan or to follow something external because you can't follow something external for your whole life. And I try to teach principles that are going to last you your entire life because you don't need to be like worrying about this forever.
I love this. I love this because you can feel like you're in prison. I'm going to
gosh.
count the points.
Like
For the rest of my life, I'm going to count points. I'm going to log it into my app. I'm going to do...
Yeah,
it's
that's not
crazy. And you feel like you're policing yourself all the time.
All the time.
And that is fertile ground for inner mean girls.
Yes.
It just makes it worse.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
There's all these situations to, fail and it's just really bad. So anyway, so I really teach women how to listen to their bodies. So these two tools are a way to help us listen to our body. It's also a way to pay attention to what's happening in our emotional world.
Yeah.
Right? Because what happens is that, so food is just a big red flashing sign that something can be off in our emotional world. So I actually don't give a crap about weight loss or like eating or all that stuff. What I really care about is how happy you are and how your life is and how you're feeling in your relationships. And I just use eating and body image and weight and how we're feeling as a tool, it's like a map to find out what's actually happening that's important.
Love this.
And so, of course, food and your health and taking care of yourself is so important.
Yeah.
But the drive is not to look a certain way.
Right.
The drive is to feel a certain way. So, so I just want to give you guys the backstory in case you haven't been in my world for a while. So with you, so I want to know, so as you know, there's always a benefit to a behavior. So
for sure.
Even though as you sitting here right now, you see these behaviors as destructive.
Right.
Of course, there's a benefit.
Right.
So let's just first focus on eating without distractions.
Okay.
So when you're in the moment.
Yes.
What is the feeling you are looking for in eating with distractions? I
am looking for, the word that keeps coming into mind is like indulgence, like me time, like, oh, I'm gonna, and even if it's something super healthy, it's like, I'm gonna sit down in front of the TV, I'm gonna turn my mind off of like the gazillion to-dos and what's going on with this baby and what's going on with this daughter and whatever, and just like really feel like this is my time for me, my celebration, because I feel like I'm pretty happy in my life. So it really is like there's a celebration feeling, and there's like an indulgent, like it feels like I could just like put a cloak over me and the television and the food and just like be in my little Amy love cave.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So when you're saying this, I'm getting this feeling of like yummy, like bathing in a chocolate fountain, like really going for it. It's like decadence. Pure decadence.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when you're in this space, do you actually have that feeling of pure decadence? Like when you're in front of the TV with the food in your lap.
Good question.
Like when you're in the moment, does it actually feel like I'm wearing silk and velvet and I'm in a pile of pillows and like I'm being fanned and fed grapes? Like, does it feel that way?
I feel like maybe for the first 3 minutes, like I get like a hit of it. Like it feels like, like it really does feel like, okay, I got like a hit. Yeah. Like the first moment, like I get a hit, and then it kind of fades away, and then I feel bad. Right. And then I feel bad. Usually because like by the time, like I was a member of the Clean Plate Club. My pop had this thing when I was a kid. Yeah. So you were supposed to clean your plate because there were starving kids in whatever country. And
because of course we're all shipping our half plates to
Africa. Exactly. Yeah. But it was like Clean Plate Club meant you did a good job at your meal. You were a good eater. You were taking care of yourself. Right. So it's like, so it's like I always clear my plate completely. And then like the first 3 minutes, maybe it was indulgent, and then the rest, I'm zoned out completely. Right.
So I just want you to see that the goal you're going for and what's actually happening are not equal.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So super important to know.
Yes.
So on a scale of 1 to 10 in your life, where would you rate yourself on taking like good me time?
Good question. I would say, like with 10 being like amazing me time. Amazing.
I have no
I would say, intuitively, I'm saying 7.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I know. I feel like that's pretty good. I have.
So what are you doing outside of eating while watching TV?
Yes.
That's me time for you.
So I have a day on my schedule, like a block called Sacred Space on my calendar that I just don't schedule anything. So that feels pretty indulgent to me and decadent because especially I have so much stuff going on.
And what are you doing during that time?
Busted. Catching up on work.
Oh, that's what?
Well, it feels indulgent to have it. Like
Just writing it on my calendar. It feels so indulgent, but I'm actually going to say
it's a good plan though, right? Yeah. Okay. So yes, that's part of it. Okay. Sometimes I do. I'm just trying to think of like the last 3 weeks so I can be really honest with myself. So part of it is I will like catch up on work, which part of it does feel indulgent because it's like getting through the to-do list.
Okay. Excuse.
All right. Lunch with a friend, like meeting up with friends, going on hikes or walks with friends,
right?
Doing exercise, but doing it in a very indulgent way, like going like on an hour or hour and a half like hike in the woods, which is like my favorite.
Awesome.
So I do some of that stuff. Sometimes I'll go get a massage or a pedicure or whatever.
How often are you getting a massage or a pedicure?
I would say a couple times a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, so how many times are you getting a massage?
I would say once, like so far since the beginning of the year, I've had like 2.
Okay.
2.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So here's the invitation I have for you.
Yes.
So a lot of women think like, oh, one massage a month is enough.
Right.
Or like, getting a pedicure here and there is enough.
Right.
Maybe you're just the woman who needs a massage every week.
Yeah.
Maybe
now it feels so good,
right?
Sarah.
Like maybe you need to have a corner in your house where you do have like velvet pillows.
Right.
And maybe you need to line the pillows and eat chocolate without watching TV.
Right.
Or line the pillows and just watch TV and not eat the chocolate so you can actually enjoy the TV show or enjoy the chocolate.
Right.
Because when I'm hearing what you're saying for your me time, it's not actually the same feeling that I'm getting you're craving when you're eating food in front of the TV.
Right.
It's different.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It does not feel decadent.
Like, it does not feel decadent.
It does not feel decadent. It feels
so there's
necessary.
These different flavors of me time. So I really want you to think about, why am I eating without distractions? Why am I overeating?
Yeah.
And how can I get that feeling somewhere else? And sometimes, we trick ourselves to thinking like, well, I am getting
right. Or like I did my meditation this morning, so it's my but it's not. That doesn't feel decadent. That feels like.
And the meditation is important. The moving our body is really important
for sure.
But it's not the
that
same
flavor.
as being like, oh,
yes,
pamper me. And as women, we need that. Like,
so need
it's
that.
just in our blood, like goddesses of the temple needing to be like fanned and fed grace. It's like Cleopatra style. We all have an inner Cleopatra that really needs us.
Yes.
So it's not bad to get a massage every week.
No, it's not. Yeah.
It's having your husband rub your feet every day.
Right.
And like have him like really worship you and give you that feeling.
Yes.
And then you're not going to need the food in front of the TV as much anymore.
I love that.
So we have to always add in what we need before we can try to take out the behavior.
Absolutely.
So this is what always happens. We try to like, I need to stop doing this. I need to stop doing this. We just try to like cold turkey willpower it, which is totally made up. But we have to add in, we have to fill up our tank before we can remove the Band-Aid.
Love it.
So I want you to work on it.
I will.
So let's go right into the eating till you're full.
Yes.
So is that feeling of being like full and filled up, is that the same decadence feeling? Or is it a different feeling?
It feels different to me. It really feels different to me. It feels like the fullness, that's interesting. Let me just close my eyes for a minute.
Yeah, think about
it. Part of it is safety. It feels like, again, like it feels like I get worried that I'm not going to have time to eat if I do get hungry again. Because I'm definitely one of those people that like, if I get too hungry, I go crazy.
Okay, so let's do some scenario planning.
Yeah.
So let's say you have lunch. We just ate lunch.
Yep.
And we have a pretty busy afternoon.
Yep. I do.
Let's say you got hungry in 45 minutes.
Yeah.
What could you do about it?
I have a bar in my purse, just in case.
Do you always have a bar in your purse just in case?
Usually.
Okay.
Usually I do.
So does that feel like enough of a safety net for you?
Oh, interesting. I guess I never really put it together. Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe you need to have a different snack in your purse.
Right.
Or a bar and an apple and some nuts.
Right.
And some chocolate.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, and it feels like having it at my desk too when I'm working. Because it's like if I'm suddenly on a call or something's happening and like the baby's with the nanny in the other room or with Rob or my mom or whatever, and then I don't want to go through the room because then the baby will start crying for me and I have to go through the room to get to the kitchen. So it's like, and my purse isn't necessarily next to me.
Yeah.
So it's like having some snacks at my desk, I think will probably also really help.
Right.
With that feeling of like, don't worry, sweet. Like it really feels like a little girl. And I didn't grow up like in a household where I was hungry or anything, but it feels like that.
Well,
it feels like that
we, as humans, we haven't evolved very much since the beginning of human time.
Yes.
Very little.
Very primitive brains.
And exactly. Yes. And in those times, like food was very scarce.
Yeah.
We didn't know when our next meal was going to come.
Right.
And so we did need to really fill up and pack on energy in order to survive.
Yes.
So it's a survival mechanism that we all have, and it's totally normal. There's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
But we need to train our bodies to remember that we can have food whenever we need to. And a lot of us who are chronic dieters reinstill that pattern of food is scarce.
Right.
Like, our body thinks is like, I don't know what my next meal is going to be because Sarah could be going on some crazy juice cleanse at any moment.
Been there, done that. Yeah.
But now, because I've been off the diet train for so long, my body just knows, like, if I'm hungry in 45 minutes, I have the capacity to go find food. Food is always available to me. I'm willing to go out of my way or cancel a call or do something to really take care of myself.
Love that.
But you have to teach your body that it's safe, that she's safe.
I love that. Well, and it just really ties into that inner mean girl story or big fat lies, I like to call it. Of like, there's not enough. There's not going to be enough food. You're not going to have enough time. It's more like you're not going to have enough time. It's not going to be convenient. You're going to get on a call. And I've had this happen before where I get on a call and I'm like, oh, I forgot to eat lunch. And all of a sudden I'm stuck like on a call with 500 people listening. And I don't want to be like, she went on the phone or whatever, you know?
Right, yeah.
But it's like, so I've been ingraining for so long, and I know so many of you can relate to this, but ingraining this inner mean girl story in my brain, literally with the neural pathways, saying, there's not enough, you're not gonna have enough time, you're gonna get caught with your pants down, so to speak.
Totally.
And be panicking about getting something to eat.
Absolutely. So there's two things you have to do.
Yes.
You have to physically set up better systems.
Yes.
Like having food in your office.
Love that.
And the other thing you have to do is after you have a meal, or like probably during the meal, you have to say, honey, to your body, we're doing things differently now.
Love that, Sarah.
Yeah, we're doing things differently now. There's a snack here on the desk when you need it. Yeah. You can eat whenever you want to. Everything's going to be okay.
Love that.
And out loud is really helpful because our bodies are really a separate entity. And we've been so mean to our bodies. I mean, you see this all the time in your work.
Yes.
Our annoying girl, it's just like,
yes,
you're fat, you're ugly, you're terrible. Why are you hungry all the time? It's like, because you're a body.
Right.
It's your job.
Exactly.
And so we need to talk to her.
Right.
And you know, tell her what's up and really treat her like our daughter.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my gosh. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Sarah.
Thank you.
I've been really secretly wanting Sarah to coach me one-on-one for a long time. So thank you all for witnessing it. I know, right? It's so good. It's just, I mean, and you can see why all of you who maybe I'm introducing for the first time to Sarah, Christine and I are from Inner Mean Girl Reform School, why we love Sarah and her program Live More, Weigh Less. Because we're so dedicated to never sending the women in our tribe to something that's going to make them feel like crap about themselves.
Right. Yes.
And
I love that you stand for that.
Yeah, I mean, and believe me, and I know that you probably get this too, there's a lot of people out there that want you to share their program, and then you look behind the scenes and realize, oh, all this is doing is causing women to make their inner mean girls bigger and beat themselves up more. Yeah. And we are just always like, is this person in alignment with this message that we have to stop being so hard on ourselves and start loving ourselves? And so Live More, Weigh Less gets our like stamp of approval at Inner Mean Girl Reform School, because it is about that inner wisdom, and you can just see how complementary our work is.
I know, it's so beautiful.
So awesome.
You know, and I really feel, you know, for the women who've known me for a long time, like this is like important foundational work to do when you're struggling with your body. It's so important.
Yes.
And I love how you do such a good job. It's not about just rejecting your inner mean girl. It's learning from her.
And loving her.
And loving
We always
her.
jokingly say loving her to death, but it's not even really to death. It's like loving her into a new job,
Integration.
redeploying her to the back seat. She doesn't get to make her decisions anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
You know, and in my program, Live More, Way Less, and we actually have this really great video training series on right now. If you guys are interested in learning more about these tools and want some more support and coaching from me, you can go to livemorewayless.com, and there's 3 free, like very long, very detailed
teaching videos
on there.
Yes.
And in my program, Live More, Way Less, this is actually going to be on our reading list.
Yay!
This year. We have a very short list because, like, you know, people only have so much time. 3 or 4 books this year.
Yeah.
But this is just so key, and I'm just so grateful that you guys are making this information so readily available for everyone. It's so important.
Awesome. Yeah. For those of you that want to discover your inner mean girl archetype, there's a link below here. You can just go to innermeangirlquiz.com. It's a free quiz so that you can really score what type of inner mean girl, what type of inner critic do you have. And then we'll also send you some info about the book, and there's a link below too if you just want to buy the book. We have some cool pre-order bundles going on right now. So wonderful.
Really fun. One of them is to a party.
Yes, it's true. It's true.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, you guys.
Much.
And thank you for spending some time with me.
Thank you so much. Oh, you're the best. Much love, ladies.
Bye.
Bye-bye.